Hey guys, what's up? This is Vinnie Stevens here, and welcome to another video from my channel, and welcome to the new place, um, which I'm going to be living here for the next 10 months. So anyway, this is another episode of vinyl reviews, uh, which has been a long await, and yeah, so today we're going to be reviewing probably one of the most iconic albums of all time. It's this Led Zeppelin 4, and I've been waiting to review this vinyl for a while. So enough of me talking, let's get into it. So who are Led Zeppelin? So Led Zeppelin is an English rock band formed in London, England in 1968, sorry. They were active until 1980 when their drummer died. They've had one-off reunions, one in 1985, 1988, 1995 and 2007. The band consists of Jimmy Page on guitar, Robert Plant on vocals, John Paul Jones on bass, and keyboard and drummer John Borden. The band's heavy guitar-driven sound has led them to be cited as one of the programmers of heavy metal, if I said that right. Um, their style drew from a wide variety of influences, including blue, psychedelia, and if I've said that right, and folk music. The band genres they play were hard rock, blues rock, folk rock, and heavy metal. The band has released 9 studio albums, 4 live albums, 9 compilation albums, 3 video albums, 16 singles, 3 charted songs, and 7 music downloads. Now on to background of the album. So So this album is the 4th studio album by the band. The album was untitled, but it is commonly known as Led Zeppelin 4. It was released on the 8th of November 1971 by Atlantic Records. It was produced by guitarist Jimmy Page. It was recorded between November 1970 and January 1971 at a few locations, one being an 18th century house in Handley Grange. After the band's previous album, Led Zeppelin 3, received like warm reviews from critics, they decided their 4th album would officially be untitled. This, along with the inner sleeve design, which I will show something similar to that later, featured 4 symbols that represent each band member, would led to the album being referred to as variously as 4 symbols. The 4th album, untitled, ran as the Hermit Zoo, which was derived from Page's symbol. In addition of lacking an album title, the cover featured no band name, as the group wished to be anonymous and to avoid easy pigeonholing by the press. Led Zeppelin 4 was a commercial and critical success, featured many of the band's best known songs, including Stairway to Heaven. The album is one of the best selling albums of all time, with more than 37 million copies sold. It is tied for the 3rd highest certificate album in the United States by the Record Industry Association of America, or RIAA, at 23 times platinum. Writers and critics have regularly placed it on lists of greatest albums of all time. On to recording sessions. So the recording sessions. After the release of Led Zeppelin 3 in October 1970, The band took a break from doing live performances to focus on recording a follow-up album, which is this album. The band turned down all touring offers. They returned to Bonner R, that's how you say it, which is a country house in Sidonia in Wales to write new material for this album. The recording sessions began at Island Records, Basin Street Studios in London in December of 1970. Uh, the group had considered to be Mick Jagger's, who's the lead singer for Rolling Stones' Home. Uh, Stargrooves as a recording location was considered, but it was too expensive, so they moved the following month to Havre Grants, a country house in Hampshire, England, using the Rolling Stones mobile studio and engineer Andy Johns, with the Stones' Ian Stewart as assistants. Andy Jones, before doing this album, worked with the Rolling Stones with their Sticky Fingers album, uh, and had recommended the mobile studio. With this released atmosphere environment, it provided other advantages for the band, as they were able to capture a spontaneous performance with some tracks rising from just communal jamming. Uh, one the band Once the band recorded the basic tracks, the band added the overdubs at Island Studios in February, and Page took the master tapes to Sunset Sound in LA for mixing. This was done by John's recommendation, with a plan for the album to be released in April 1971. However, the band disliked the results, and after spring to early summer tour, Page remixed the album again in July. The album was yet again delayed over the choice of cover on which should be, or whether it should be a double album, which suggests it can be reissued as a set of EP. So on to songs. We're going to start with side one. The first song was Black Dog. So this song is named after a dog, obviously, that used to hang around the Harley Grants during the recording session. The riff was written by both Page and Jones, while the capital section was an influence from Fleetwood Mac's song "Oh Well." Vocalist Robert Plant wrote the lyrics and later sang portions of the song during his solo tours. The guitar solos on the outro were recorded directly into the desk without using an amp. So on to the next song. So rock and roll. So this was a collaboration with Stuart that came out of an early jam session in the recording studio. The drummer John Bonham wrote the intro, which came from jamming intro to "Keep a Knocking" by Little Richard. This track became a live favourite in concert, being performed as the opening song or as an encore. It was released as a promo single in the US with studio and mono mixes on either side of the disc. Now on to the next song. So the Battle of Evermore. So this song was written by Page on the mandolin, that was borrowed from Jones. Plant added lyrics by a book he was reading about the Scottish Independence Wars. The track features a dead between Plant and a person called Sandy Denny from Fairport Conventions. Plant played a role of narrator in the song that described the event, while Denny sang the part of the town crier that represented the people. Now on to the next song. So Stairway to Heaven. This was mostly written by Page, and the bulk of the chord sequence was worked out when recording took place at Basin Street Studios. The lyrics were written by Plant at Hardly Grunge. The song is about a woman who took everything without giving everything back. Uh, Anything back, sorry. The final take on the song was recorded at Island Studios after this session at Hardly Grunge. The song was a track out that stand out on the album and was played on radio stations, but the group had resisted all suggestions to release it as a single. It became the main centerpiece of the group's live sets from 1971 till they broke up in 1980. Now on to side two. So, uh, Missy Mount Hop. So this song was written at Hardly Grunge. Plant wrote lyrics about dealing with the clash against students and police around the drug possessions. The title for the song came from J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit. Plant later performed the song on his solo tours. So, Four Sticks. So this song took its title from John Bonham playing the drum pattern that runs for its song with the four drumsticks. The track was difficult to record compared to the other songs on this album. The songs recorded in numerous takes to record the song. It was also played once by the band and was re-recorded for the Bombay Symphony Orchestra in 1972. It was later reworked in 1984 for Page and Plant's album No Quarter. Jimmy Page and Robert Plant unleaded. Uh, so on to the next song. So going to California, so this one was a quiet acoustic number. This was written by both Page and Plant about earthquakes, California, and trying to find the perfect woman. The music was inspired by Joni Mitchell, who were both fans of. The track was originally titled Guide to California. The final title came from a trip to Los Angeles to mix the album. So on to the next song. So when the leaf break, so when the leaf breaks came from a blues song recorded by Memphis Minnie and the Kansas Joe McVoy in 1929. Uh, the song was recorded in the hall of Hardly Grange. Sorry, this was the introduction was later extensively sampled for hip hop music in the 1980s. Page and Plant played the song on their 1985 tour promoting No Quarter, Jimmy Page and Robert Plant on Leaded. So now on to other songs. So other songs, there were three other songs from the sessions. Down by the Seaside, Night Flight and Boogie with Stu featured Stewart on piano. These were included 4 years later on the double album Physical Graffiti. An early version of No Quarter was also recorded at the sessions as well. Now on to album title. So album title. So after the Lacworm, it's not confused and sometimes dismissed. Critical reaction to Led Zeppelin 3 that was received in the late 1970, the band decided that the next Led Zeppelin album would not have a title, but would instead feature four hand drawn symbols on the inner sleeve and the record label, each one chosen by the band member it represents. So the record company were strongly against the idea, but kind of the group band stood their ground and refused to hand over master tapes until the decision had been agreed. Uh, Page had also stated that the decision to release the album without any written information on the album sleeve was contrary to strong advice given to them by the press agents. By a press agent, who was who said that after a year's absence from both recordings and touring, the move would be akin to a professional suicide. Page thought we just happened to have a lot of faith in what we were doing. He recorded the record company was insisting that the title had to be on the album, but again, he held his ground, as he felt it would be an answer to critics who could not review one Led Zeppelin album without a reference to earlier ones. Uh, so upon release, the album with official title had made it difficult to be identified. While which culminated this album is known as Led Zeppelin 4. Atlantic Records catalogs have used the names of four symbols on the fourth album. It has also been referred to as Zuzu, which page page's symbol appears to spell untitled and runs. Page frequently referred to the album in interviews as the fourth album and Led Zeppelin 4, and Plant thinks of it as the fourth album. That's it. The original LP also had no text in front or back of the cover like the catalog image on the spine. So now on to cover. So the cover, and I'm just going to grab it. So this is so in place of a title page, decided each member could have a personal emblem for the cover. Tended thinking of a single symbol, but then they decided it could be four for each member of the band. Choosing that one, he designed his own. That is, of Jimmy Page designed his own symbol, and he never publicly disclosed any reasoning behind it. It had been agreed that the symbol appeared as early as 1557 to represent Saint Saturn. Um, the symbol is sometimes referred to as Zuso. No Pierce has explained that it was not, in fact, intended to be a word at all. Jones's symbol, which choose from Rudolf Curch's Book of Signs, is a single circle, interesting three vertical pieces. Orthopoeia, I can't say that. It is intended to symbolize a person who possesses both confidence and competence. Bottom symbol, the three interlocking bottom rings, was picked by the drummer from the same book. It represents the dread of a mother, father, and child, but in the ring, it also happened to be the logo of Ballantine beer, plant symbol of affair with a circle has was his own design, being based on the sign of the supported Miles civilization. A fifth smaller chosen one was by guest vocalist Sandy Daly, representing her contribution to the Battle of the Evermore song. Figure compared to the three equilateral triangles appears on the inner sleeve of the LP, serving as an asterisk. So the cover has, I will show the inner bit later. So the cover is a 19th century rustic oil painting from the album. This was actually purchased from an antique shop in Reading, Buckinghamshire by Plant. Painting was then juxtaposed and affixed to the internal people world of a partly demoralized suburban house. Photographed to be taken. The sticker at the bottom wasn't actually part of the album. So at the back, the block of flats there, seen on the album, is Seal Breeze Tower in Ladyworth district of Birmingham. Pages explained the cover of the fourth album was intended to bring out the kind of city country diplomatic. I can't say that again. Sorry. That has intentionally surfaced on Led Zeppelin 3 and a reminder that people should look after the earth. So if I open the inside, I've got to take the vinyl out here, where it's going to fall. So, so the inside illustration is titled "The Hermit," painted by a guy called Barentine Kovac, credited to Barentine Kovac on the album sleeve. This was influenced by the design of the card of the same name in Ryder Wake's tour deck. The card was later portrayed by Page himself in Led Zeppelin's concert film. The song remains the same in 1976. Um, the inner painting is also referred to as the view in the half or very light. The typeface for the lyrics to Stairway to Heaven is painted on the inside of the sleeve as well. That was Page's contribution. He found it in an old arts and crafts magazine called The Studio, which dated from the late 19th century. And he found it the letter and was interested and arranged it for some to create the whole alphabet. So I actually didn't know this was in the thing until I had one day it slipped out when I was listening to the vinyl. So this is a bit of a card. So you've got the four symbols at the top. Pretty much this is just the songs on the album, and then just people and Sandy Gary's symbol as well at the bottom, and then that's just all he was involved. And then I think it has the lyrics to Stairway to Heaven on the back here as with a photo there in the corner. I don't know what the photo is. So yeah. So on to release. So the album was promoted via a series of teaser advertisements showing the individual symbols of the album's artwork. It entered the UK chart at number 10, raising to number 1 the following week, and it's spent a total of 90 weeks on the chart. In the US, it was Led Zeppelin's best-selling album, but did not top the Billboard album chart, peaking at number 2 behind There's a Riot Going On by Slay and the Family Stone, and music by Carole King. Ultimately, right, a guy called Lewis, the fourth album would be the most durable seller in their catalogue and the most impressive critical and commercial success of their career. At one point, it was ranked as one of the top 5 best-selling albums of all time. The album has been reissued several times throughout the 1970s, including the lyric vinyl press in the 1978, sorry, and a box set package in 1988. Now on to critical reputation. So critical reputation. So Led Zeppelin 4 received overall praise from critics. In a review for the Rolling Stone, a writer called Lenny Kyle called it the band's most consistently good album yet, and praised the diversity of the songs. Out of the 8 cuts, there isn't one that steps on another's toe that tries to do too much all at once. Billboard magazine called it a powerhouse album that has the commercial potential of the band's previous 3 albums. A guy called Robert Christgau originally gave Led Zeppelin 4 a Lightborn review in the Village Voice, but later called it a masterpiece of heavy rock, while still finding the band's medieval ideas limiting. He believed the album showed them of a renegade of their songwriting and regarded it as defy Led Zeppelin and hence a heavy metal album. In retrospect review for AllMusic, a writer called Stephen Thomas Egrang credited the album for defining not only Led Zeppelin but the sound and style of 70s hard rock, while encompassing heavy metal, folk, pure rock and roll, and blues. In the album Guide to Heavy Metal Spin magazine, a writer called Joe Gross um, cited that Led Zeppelin 4 as a more monolithic cornerstone of the genre. BBC Music Daryl Isabella, that's how you say your name, said that the album made a band a global success and effectively combined their third album folk ideas with this second album's hard rock style, while Catherine Flynn and Gillian Rain of Consequences Sound felt they featured their debut blues rock along with other styles from their second and third albums. Um, in Led Zeppelin's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame biography, described the album as fully re- realized hybrid of folk and hard rock directions. Pop Matters journalist A.J. Rimsey regarded it as of the greatest heavy metal albums ever, while Chuck Eddy named it the #1 album of all time in his 1991 book, Stairway to Hell. The 500 best uh, metal albums in the universe, according to rock scholar Melvin Jones, Led Zeppelin 4, and particularly Stairway to Heaven, reflected the heavy metal presence in counterculture trends in the early 70s as the album blended post-hippie mysticism, mythical old school version, and hard rock. So now on to album recognition. So album on recognition. So this album, as I said, is one of the best-selling albums of all time, with more than 37 million copies sold as of 2014, and as of 2018, this year, this video is being released. It is tied for the third highest certificate album in the US by the Recording Industry Association of America, or RIAA, 23 times platinum. So Mojo in the UK, the 100 greatest albums ever made, 1996 ranked at number 24. Same again with the Grammy Awards in the US in 1999. The Grammy Hall of Fame award, it also was at number 24. The Guitar in the US of Album of the Millennium in 1999, it ranked number 2. Classic Rock in the UK, 100 Greatest Rock Albums Ever in 2001, ranked number 1. The Rolling Stone US 500 Greatest Albums Ever in 2012, ranked at number 69. Pitchfork in the US, Top 100 Albums of the 1970s. In 2004, ranked number 7. Again, the same, Robert Dimery in the US, 2001 albums, You Must Hear Before You Die, 2005 also stayed the same. Q in the UK, 100 best-selling albums ever in 2006, went to number 21. In the UK, classic again, classic rock, 100 greatest British rock albums ever in 2006, went to number 1. In the US Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the defined 200, the top 200 albums of all time, 2007 ranked number 4, and NBA in the UK on their 500 greatest albums of all time, 2013 ranked it at 106. So on to track listings. So track listings now. Fortunately, I don't have a digital copy of this album, so I'm just going to read out them. So side 1, Black Dog, Rock and Roll, Ballad of Evermore, and Stairway to Heaven. On side 2, Miss Mountain Hop, Four Sticks Going to California, and When the Leaf Breaks. Now on to charts. So charts. So 1971 to 72 in both the Australian albums charts and Dutch albums charts and the US Billboard 200. It ranked at number 2 on the Canadian albums chart and the UK albums chart ranked at number 1. It went back on the charts 2014 and the Polish albums ZPAV it ranked at number 18. So now on to certification. So certification. So in Australia, the ARIA 9 times platinum, selling 630,000 copies. Canada, Music Canada, 2 times diamond, 2 million copies. UK went 6 times platinum, selling 1,800,000. And in the United States, RIAA rated 23 times platinum, selling 23 million copies. Now on to my review. So my review, so I would rate this album 10 out of 10. Now I know the last couple of reviews I've rated top score on the albums, but I go by what I think of the album. And like I think this album is one of the best albums ever that I have got in my collection. Like it's one of my all-time favorite songs is on it, Stairway to Heaven. I'm not a huge Led Zeppelin fan. Like it took me years to really get into their music. I think it was one of the first bands I tried to get into at first, but I didn't really feel it was the music was connecting with me. Like I first listened and watched Led Zeppelin at Celebration Day, the reunion show, on TV. If you don't know what that is, they did like a reunion in 2007, but I watched that like years later. That's kind of what first drew me into the band. Then I kind of moved on to like listening to their greatest hits, mostly their first like couple of albums. I mean, it kind of helped me grow into listening to more their stuff. And then when I first got a vinyl player, people were saying to me to get this album vinyl you have to have in your collection. So I got this as a Christmas present along with the two other ECDC albums I previously reviewed. I didn't listen to it first, but when I put it on, it just like blew me away, and I felt this album kind of made a connection with me, and the music in it is probably the most played um, album in my collection. It's not an original 1971 vinyl, it's one of the 2014 reissued vinyls, and about a year ago I nearly actually had the chance to see Robert Plant play live on his latest album. I can't remember the name as of 2018, but fortunately never went to it. But all in all, I love this album. So going to wrap this video up.